Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this video, we're going to show you guys how you can implement global error handler in your MuleSoft application. Before we begin, I would like you guys to please subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any notifications and videos from us. Application logging and error handling is a critical part of log management and helps smoothly run a business. If you don't have any proper logging record, it is difficult to identify the events, making troubleshooting a long and time-consuming process. Global Error Handler helps you to maintain uniformity in your API ecosystem so that you can stay agile, deliver faster and better APIs. Why do we need to use Global Error Handler? We need to use Global Error Handler to make error handling reusable so that multiple applications can use the Global Error Handler. It helps in defining application level error handling, and it also minimizes developer efforts by 10 to 15%. So instead of creating error handling mechanism for each and every flow, you can just point your errors to a global error handler. So let us see a global error handler use case. On our left, you can see a diagram where we have created a test application. And in this test application, we have two flows. Flow 1 is to create a user in a database. Let us consider the database we are using is between two mules DB. And flow 2 is to update user information in between two mules database. While the application is running in production, let's say we run into DB connectivity issue. So instead of creating multiple error handlers for individual flows, we can point the errors to a common global error handler, which will handle common errors such as DB connectivity issue in this case. It will therefore generate uniform error and response messages by following a defined standard. And lastly, for this demo, we're going to build a global error handler in an application. And then we're going to showcase how to use the global error handler by producing an error in the application. So for this demo purpose, I have created an application in MuleSoft. So this is our Anypoint Studio, and I've created an application called Global Error Handler. In this Global Error Handler, I have created two Mule configuration files. Number one is the Global Error Handler file, which is gonna handle our global errors. And the other application is Test Error application, which is just an application for demo purposes. So in this application, I have a scheduler, which is scheduled to run every 1000 milliseconds. And I have a raise error. This will simply raise an error, and the type of this error is any. And I'm using a select DB connector. In this connector, the connector configuration here that I have set up is wrong. I'll just show it to you guys. So this is not a real database. I would like to have a DB connectivity error. That's why I have populated these fields with dummy data. So this is the test application that we're gonna test. And this is our global error handler. So in this global error handler, we have two types of error handling mechanisms. We have on error propagate and we have on error continue. I will not go in details of what on error propagate is and what on error continue is. If you guys would like us to explain this in details, please comment down below and we will take care of it. So we have two error mechanisms, on error propagate, in which I have specifically defined the type app connection. And for on error continue, I have defined the type any. So as you can see, for this raise error, the type is any. So it's gonna go in this on error continue. And for this DB select, what I have done in error mapping, I have mapped a DB connectivity error to app connection. So this is a namespace that I have created for this particular DB connector. So whenever there is a DB connectivity issue, it's gonna map to app connection, and then it's gonna head to global error handler and it will try to find the namespace. So as you can see, the namespace is defined in on error propagate. So it will go in on error propagate. So for some errors, we would like to move forward with our flow, but in some cases we would like to display the error and stop the flow. So on error propagate will stop the flow, and on error continue will continue to move in within the flow. So in the onError propagate, what I have done, I have created a transform message. So this transform message contains a generic payload which can be used multiple times by multiple applications. And then I have a logger which will just log the error that we received. In the error message, we have severity, we have the correlation ID. This correlation ID can be useful if you would like to send your errors to a third-party application like logz.io or Splunk. The message, what the error says. The category is MuleSoft. The subcategory is test error and the organization name is between two mules. Similarly, for onError continue, we have simply changed the subcategory to test error continue. So this is how you can create a global error handler which can be useful to maintain the errors in your API ecosystem. And for the configurations, I have simply created a configuration. So in the configuration, we have defined default error handler as global error handler, which is the name of our global error handler. So I'm gonna go ahead and debug this flow. I have a breakpoint on raise error as well as on select DB connector. I would like to show you guys two different error handling mechanisms. One is onError propagate and the other is onError continue. One thing to keep in note is the global error handler runs in series, meaning first it will check onError propagate, then it will move forward to onError continue. If it will not find any error type in onError propagate, it will move forward to onError continue, in which the type is any. So you can say we are basically handling a specific type app connection in onError propagate, and for any other errors, we'll use onError continue. So let me go ahead and debug this application. So the application has been deployed successfully. We have a breakpoint here, that's why the flow is stopped. And now for this raise error, we have type any. So it's going to raise an error. If you see, the error type is mule any. So since it did not find anything on onError propagate, it moved to onError continue. So that's how we know the global error handler works in sequential manner. So in onError continue, as you can see, the payload is now changed with the error message. We have severity error, the source ID, which is the correlation ID, the message, the category, the subcategory, and organization name. So now let me stop the flow. And I'm just going to toggle this raise error because I would like you guys to see the onError propagate part. I have saved the application and I'm just going to debug again. So now the event source, which is the scheduler in this case, has triggered the application and we have a debug on select DB. So the flow has been stopped here. If I step into, as you can see right now, the payload is null. And in select, we have our SQL query, which is select user from between two mules, and the limit is 10, meaning we need 10 records from that particular database. As you can see, the error says it cannot get the connection for URL, which is okay because there is no database with such name. But if you see the error type, since it's a DB connectivity issue, the error was mapped, as you can see, to app connection. And now it will go in onError propagate because we have defined a specific type app connection for onError propagate. If I see the payload here, the payload has been changed with the severity error source ID, the message, which is the error message in this case, the category and organization name. So this is how you can use global error handler to maintain uniformity in your API ecosystem. It is very effective if you would like to send your errors to a third-party logging mechanism as well. So I hope you guys like this video. Please feel free to provide your feedback in the comment sections down below. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next one.